Okay, I was muted because I needed to have Twitch open just in case, because the other day, the last time I streamed was a bit of a disaster. I couldn't look at comments. It was a whole thing. Oh, I see my eyes. Hello, eyes.
You look so cute. I love the hair so much.
Thank you. I am very happy with this.
Oh, Toya's here.
Hi, Toya. I'm glad to be back. I'm very excited to be back.
Yes, we've missed you. Eyes
Also,
are back. Yes.
yay. Yeah.
Hi, Sharon.
Hey, Sharon. Thank you. I'm very happy with the hair. I mean, I do have to say, this is holding on to yesterday's style. Like, I obviously got its style at the salon. But I did things that kept it wavy.
Yes, it's so cute.
But now my hair is going to be probably a little less flat than it usually is when I don't try to do stuffs to it with the flat iron.
Also, that highlight when you turn to the side, dang.
Oh yeah. This highlight, let me tell you what it is. So, as you know, because I wasn't here for a couple of weeks, I went on another house sitting adventure. This time it was in the city. And you know me, I still like to take makeup pictures, and I took a couple that I'm actually really proud of there. So I brought a crap ton of makeup, as always, because packing makeup, I can't pack just one thing. But I did a little costume palette.
It is so cute.
So
That's gorgeous.
this palette is the shades at the top are everything is color flop, by the way, but like stuff that actually were things that actually were good from them. So the top shadows are Blue Moon, and these ones are from It's My Pleasure, except for the matte with shimmer, because who needs a matte with shimmer? Like, it's not even that sparkly. Like,
Honestly.
yeah.
Sharon said, "Oh my gosh, now that you're on the big screen, that eye look." And Toya said the palette is gorgeous, and Sharon is oohing, no doubt, at the blues.
Yeah, yeah. Sharon.
Yes, that too, Toya. And the scheme matches the color story matches the magnetic palette. I love that.
Yeah, I was like, it's matchy. It's really cool. I actually, we don't hang out with Color Flop anymore. Like, they can't sit with us. But if they were like a magnetic palette company, instead of being a makeup company and being messy, their magnetic palettes are pretty good, actually. Like, the magnets are pretty resistant. Like, look at this. I have to make an effort to open it. So the highlighter is one of my favorite eyeshadows, which is this one here at the top, which is Lumi from the Blue Moon palette. And I was like, what if I use Lumi as a highlighter, because I'm wearing blue and purple? And for the shimmers in the eye, I use this one, and this one. And the only one I know the name of is this one, which is Earthshine, which is from the It's My Pleasure palette. But like, I was feeling spacey. Galaxy E.
Ah,
So
it's gorgeous. Oh, Emily's here. Fefy, it's been too long since I was here for a podcast. And
oh, hi, Emily.
right, you look absolutely fabulous, and I'm so happy to be here. Yes.
Oh,
Uh,
thank
and then Toya
you.
said, "For the love of God, stop it with the mats with shimmers. If I want shimmer in the crease, I'll use a shimmer." Right, though.
Yeah, like I have been playing.
Thorn is here.
Oh, hi, friend. It's very good that you're here, by the way, because I'm going to be. Do you have a blanket around to hide behind? Because I think my eyes will agree because it's March, so it's Thorn Appreciation Month. That's not actually the official name. That's what I'm calling it. But I mean, I appreciate you every day, friend. But like, it's extra appreciation. Oof, 1 second. I need water. It's very hot in here.
It's hydrate time. Everybody take a good drink. Get some food if you haven't. Take your
Yeah,
meds.
as soon as financial things, my bank, whatever the hell, and I can actually be affiliate, you bet that I'm going to have like a hydrate command because
That.
I always end up choking because I talk too much. And another thing that I'm going to do is like link to my friends' stuff to help them because I want all my friends to do all the things that they want to do. Right?
Toya said, "I'm here for a month of extra appreciation for Thorn." Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we should always appreciate them because they are fabulous and wonderful. And the other day when I was talking, I mean, we were on Eeyore's stream, and it was that weekend that Thorn was in Texas being amazing and helping people. And I said the thing about I am very lucky that I have met such quality people even during these annoying as heck uh, panaderia times. And when I said that, I obviously didn't name names, but Eeyore and I both were talking about Thorn. And the thing is, and Eeyore, I don't know if you have the link around.
I'm getting it right now.
Yeah, it's in you. Yeah, if you have it, please put it in the chat because this month we are going to be fundraising for Thorn so they can complete their transition and do all the amazing things that they want to do because they deserve all the good things. And I'm very excited for this, and I would encourage everyone to share, to donate, and to like support because this is very important, especially since everything is expensive. So yeah, also it's the whole month because the whole month is their birthday, except when it's Lily's birthday because they requested that. And obviously Lily is queen, so So we do as the queen says.
There we
And
go. Sorry.
here's the link. Here's the link. And like I was saying, I'm sorry, I'm organizing my thoughts because I have so much stuff to say, like in the podcast in general today, that I'm a bit Brian is Brianing. But this is very important because everything that involves transition is very expensive. For what is the reason? Honestly, I mean, we know, but like it's very expensive, and a lot of people dismiss it and talk about it like it's not important, like it's not an essential thing to do, but it's actually something that is life changing and life saving. So as their friend, I want my friend to have all the good things and the best chance they can in life. So I will encourage everyone to check out the link, to donate and share,
Yes,
because
please.
like what better gift than
Then a
giving
gift of safety.
someone, yeah, yeah, it's very important for their safety. So yeah, like this is more important than things, even though they also deserve the things. But
Thorn deserves all the things and all of the transition related care.
yeah, so I am going to be faster this week, and I'm going to post the episode earlier than I have before. Like I caught up with uploading all the episodes to YouTube, especially because of this, because I knew this was going to be a thing that would happen, and that I needed to be like caught up with everything. So I'm going to be posting the link as well when I upload to YouTube, because I want to be my friend. I want my friend to be happy and safe.
Yes.
And we all, and I believe everyone here shares that sentiment. And like, if you don't, what are you doing here? But like, everyone here agrees. So let's do our best to help.
Sharon just said thanks for the link. And I was just saying,
You're
you're welcome.
welcome, friend. And thank you, Ear, for being a super mod, because my laptop is trying me. My laptop is being listen, I was going to say potato, but potatoes are delicious and helpful. This isn't this is neither delicious nor helpful. So I am a bit frazzled today, but I have my eyes with me, and that always helps. So thank you for being here, Eor, and thank you for
Aw, of course.
providing the links and the information that we need, and for helping me help people. So yeah.
Help me to help you. Help me to help you.
Yeah, this is a very LGD thing, and that's why I find like it's very important that we're doing this, because LGD will help each other when we see that someone needs something. So in any way we can.
Yes. Pulling each other up the mountain.
Yeah. The time of pulling yourself by the bootstrap is over. We help each other. We help each other up instead. So, without besides that, obviously, today we have a new episode of One More Thing with Fefy. Welcome, everyone. I finally got up to what number of episode this is. Be proud of me.
You did it.
I did it. It's episode 14. And today I'm going to take you all on another journey to the weird. Because I have been talking about this freaking show. Is it since the podcast started? Probably. So today we're talking about the freaking telenovela that never ends. Because
is that like the song that never ends?
Yeah, this is worse. The song that never ends, like it probably makes more sense, honestly. So we're talking today about the longest running telenovela in Chilean history. I looked up the Wikipedia page and I immediately got a headache, just so you know. I gave up on writing notes for this episode. You heard me right.
You know that shit is real.
I gave up on writing notes for this episode, but I do know stuff about it. So, this show started in 2017. We are in the year of the Lord 2021, aka 2020 Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. And this shit is still on the air. And it's supposed to be a telenovela.
Yeah, Toya said this telenovela is a mess. And Sharon said, it's the 14th episode already? Well, here's to another 14, 28, 42, and 56 episodes.
Yay. I am excited to make more episodes, and I hope you are enjoying being here with me. So yeah. I want to tell you about the new grievances that I have with this show because they keep popping up.
Like, I'm ready for it.
I swear the plot holes and the offensive stuff and the mess, it's like mushrooms. It start popping up everywhere. Like it for why? So this show is called Verdades Ocultas, which in English translates to Hidden Truths. Except everyone finds out about everything super fast, which but you know, it was supposed to be a telenovela. But the thing about telenovelas, I have said this before, they end. They don't keep having seasons and seasons. After like one arc ends, and it's like like the biggest arc, the biggest story. After it ends, like you wrap up a couple of you tie up a couple of loose ends, and then the thing is over. And that's it. But like this thing, they keep wrapping up storylines and it doesn't end. So I am going to tell you the story that started it all. And I'm not going to give like a lot of context. I'm going to provide the context after I explain this. So originally, this show is the story of a woman named Laura, who is broke. Like she is broke, like she can barely sustain herself. She has two young daughters. The oldest one is named Rocio, and the youngest is named Rosita. And she doesn't know what she's going to do. Like she can barely feed her children. It's a very terrible situation for this poor lady. Until one day, a rich guy approaches her and she's like, "Hey, you want your daughters to be like safe and happy and fed and whatever? I have a deal for you. How about you sell me one of your daughters because my wife can't have children? That way, one of your daughters is going to be you're going to be able to maintain one of your daughters with the money that I gave you, and the other one is going to be like living in a fancy house, having everything she needs. Like both end up being happy and well fed, blah 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 blah, whatever." And Laura is so desperate that she decides to go ahead with the deal with this rich guy, and she sells the youngest daughter, Rosita, to him. And then she like tells Rocio that her sister got kidnapped and they never found her again, to like justify why she's never why she isn't there anymore. And it's like, that premise already is like, why? Also, after I told you that storyline, which era do you think this show is set in? Like a lady sells a child. Which
That's
era
wild.
do you think? Like, it sounds like a period drama.
It does.
Doesn't it? It's not. It's not. Like, it's the storyline, the main the main storyline is during our time. So we are to believe that that deal happened even late 80s, early 90s, something like that, because we don't know how old the sisters are, but they're assumed to be like around my age, like in their 30s.
Like what
20
Sharon said.
30s.
Oh, wow. That's a recipe for sadness. Victorian England Dickens tragedy.
Yeah, it sounds like that, because like imagine, like she's so desperate that she can't feed her children that she sells one of them. Like,
there's a couple. The Mentalist has also done that, and Criminal
oh
Minds.
right, I love the
Yeah.
Mentalist, by the way.
Oh, the Mentalist is great. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
so interesting how like that's not even just like a Chilean thing. Like you see that all the time in American TV too, where like
I
there's
mean,
twins and they have to get rid of one, or like the younger
yeah, it's
sister.
a very, it's a very telenovela thing in general. Like the sisters or the brothers that are separated, and they don't, and when they come back and they're adults, they don't know that they're siblings, so they have a rivalry or something. And this is what happens in this show in particular. Like, years passed and they don't tell us how many years passed. And then later I'm going to explain why, because these writers are wild.
I'm ready for it.
Everyone is an adult now, and this is the original storyline that started in 2017. And Rocio and her mom live in this neighborhood that I would like to say that is like kind of similar to like my neighborhood, but it's like lower middle class. Like you have people who are like broke, people who are like kind of broke, and the lady who brags to the entire neighborhood about how her kid is in university or whatever. Like,
Yeah, we'll fight that lady.
yeah. And she is the copuchenta of the neighborhood. Like, always talking about other people. Yeah. So, um, Rocio, the daughter who stayed with her mother, is now she's like a preschool teacher. That changes later on, by the way. And she's like sweet and innocent, and she's dating this guy who is from the neighborhood. And like she's great and everyone loves her, blah blah blah. You know, the typical good girl telenovela trope. Um, and she always sees the good in everyone. And obviously, like she's sad because like her sister got kidnapped, and she misses her because she remembers her from when she was a child. On the other hand, Rosita is no longer called Rosita. Her name is now Agustina, and she is rich, and she lives in a McMansion with her family. Um, Her adoptive mother didn't like her in the beginning when she was very small, but then she ended up loving her, and she is like super, and Agustina is now super spoiled, and she's like typical rich telenovela bad girl. Like,
I love
everything
this.
is very tropey, and she is dating her father's right hand man, whose name is Tomas. I know I said that he's her father's right hand man, but he's young. Don't worry. There's no weird age difference yet. Um, and we're going to be talking about Tomas later because he is a piece of work, but like I digress. So like she's dating this guy, everything is great, and her family runs a lot of businesses. So they decide, and some of the businesses that they have are restaurants. So they decide to put a restaurant in the neighborhood where Laura and Rocio live. And the one in charge of like managing it is Agustina. So she starts visiting the neighborhood. Rocio was very young. So, and both sisters were very young when the ridiculous drama happened. So they don't recognize each other. But Laura recognizes her daughter immediately. And she's like, oh shit, this is the daughter that I sold. And she is now going to be here a lot because her work is in my neighborhood. So Laura decides to start working at the restaurant so she can get closer to Agustina. In the meantime, I don't know how the heck Tomas showed up to the neighborhood. Like, nobody invited you. I mean, I know your girlfriend works here, but aren't you like a fancy schmancy rich guy? Like, what are you doing hanging out with the people. I mean, more rich people should like take a look at the people and see how they live. That way they would stop talking shit about poor people. But I digress. So for some reason, he starts going to the restaurant as well. And there in the neighborhood, he meets Rocio. And what happens here is, I think you might have guessed it, Tomás and Rocio fall in love. Or so he says. Uh, like, he's in love with Rocio now, but like, I call bullshit. Having watched a lot of episodes of this show, I call bullshit. Anyway, so now both sisters are rivals for the love of that specimen, that man. For why? I do not know. But you know, that's how telenovelas work. There's always a love triangle, and it's always annoying as heck.
Oh, Sharon said, "Oh my gosh, Laura feels guilt, embarrassment, longing."
Yeah, I mean, obviously she feels guilty because, like, selling your child is not like something an upstanding citizen would do, but she's supposed to be a good person. I mean, I know she was desperate and like people will do like weird shit for money. I understand, but at the same time, I'm like, this is kind of icky. I don't know if if you get what I'm saying. But like, she wants to reconnect with her youngest daughter in some way.
I do weird shit for money, right? Though
you
but not
wouldn't
this.
you wouldn't sell Lily for money. You wouldn't do
Right.
that.
Right.
Yeah, like, because she's your child. Like, but anyway, she feels and like, obviously the tension mounts between the sisters, who have no idea that they're sisters, by the way. Right? See. Also, you wouldn't be a telenovela protagonist because you're smart. And to be a telenovela protagonist, you have to be
Thor
no
said,
touch
"No, not my
therapy
Fefy."
in a way that no one else has ever been like no touch therapy. Honestly, like, it's very like Brian doesn't work for many of those people. Like, I'm like, are these even like, obviously this shit, it has probably happened in real life, but the way that it's handled, it probably hasn't been handled like that in real life. Anyway, so the sisters hate each other's guts because they're both somehow in love with this mediocre piece of white bread that got left on a hot roof back in the late 80s. Somehow they think this dude is desirable. Straight people are very strange. The straights are never okay. Anyway, so they hate each other. And Rocio is like, oh, this girl is so mean, and complains about her to her mom. And Laura defends her. Like,
Toya said, "Oh hell no, they don't know they're sisters."
yeah, like, they don't know they're sisters. Like, Agustina remembers that she was with one mom at some point, and she had a sister, and then suddenly she was separated from her mom, and she had a different set of parents, and she lived in a fancy house now. But when they see each other, they don't recognize each other because they were very young and now they're adults. So, but Laura recognizes her daughter, but the sisters don't recognize each other. I'm going to get to that later. Don't worry. So there's a lot of conflict and drama and nonsense until one day, Agustina, to try to separate Rocio from Tomás, she's going to plant some fake evidence against Rocio or something
God.
like that in her room.
Sharon said, questionable taste, it seems. Do they look alike at all?
No, they don't. I mean, the actresses, maybe if you squint, they can pass as sisters. And then I'm going to go at Sharon. There's a weird genetics thing in this show that I'm going to explain later, and you're not going to believe it. So let me get to that. Anyway, so Agustina, being the evil sister, has an evil plan to plant some evidence of I forgot what, because this show has been for a gajillion years, but like she wanted to do something against Rocio to make her look bad to Tomás so she could get him back. So she goes to Rocio's room and she starts snooping around. And suddenly she sees a picture of Rocio with her sister. And she's like, oh shit, that's me. And that's how Agustina finds out that she's Rocio's sister. But Rocio still doesn't know. Because the main protagonist, the good girl, never finds out the big secret until very late in the storyline. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you told me, and all that drama. But like, we haven't gotten to that part yet.
Sharon said, oh, a weird science twist? Like one of them needs a kidney?
Oh, there's a kidney donation storyline, but it's not between them. It's with another character, and that storyline made me so mad. It was very offensive. I'm going to get that in a second. Don't worry, Sharon. Anyway, so also Laura has had like a lot of love triangle drama of her own. She was married to this guy. Then the guy died. Then she married the butcher who cheated on her with this other lady and got her pregnant. Then it turns out that she and the rich guy she sold Agustina to were a thing in the past. And the rich guy is actually the sister's actual biological father. But then, after a fight with Agustina, in which she's like, I know I got sold and this other girl is my sister, her father has a heart attack and dies, and like, this lady can't catch a break. And spoiler alert, she is not a character in the following seasons. So you can see how contrived and like everything happening this is. Anyway, so I believe, because I didn't watch all the episodes, I have to admit a lot of it was me working at the archive, having to watch this during lunchtime, because the janitor and all the cleaning ladies were super obsessed with this show. And I was like, I'm going to see what the fuss is about. And I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. So anyway, but I watched it and I grasped the storyline in general. And also I am fascinated by storytelling. And especially I'm fascinated by terrible storytelling. Like how do you manage to write something so bad?
Your roasts are my favorite.
So anyway, it reaches a point in which both sisters know their sisters, but they're still fighting for this guy, which I don't understand. I don't. I will never get it. I'm sorry. I don't understand. The thing about straight culture is I don't understand it. Anyway, so Agustina has been doing a lot of questionable things, very questionable things. She gets pregnant. She gets pregnant.
Oh my God.
With Tomas's baby in very questionable circumstances that make me feel very icky. I hate that is a telenovela plot device, but it happens so often. For why? Ugh. Anyway, but she's pregnant now.
Sharon said, is it a part of telenovela-ness that characters inexplicably vanish from the storyline?
Actors vanish from the storyline and then they get replaced and then they get replaced by other actors. And also sometimes when they have like drama with the writers, they're like, oh no, so and so moved to another country for no reason, even though this character had never expressed the desire to move to another country, but like they just did. It's just a thing that happened, don't overthink it. So anyway, Rocio and Tomas are about to get married because this lady has terrible taste. And the day of her wedding is the day in which she finds out that Agustina is her sister. The day of her wedding is also the day in which she finds out that Agustina is pregnant with her soon-to-be husband's baby. So obviously, the wedding doesn't happen because she's like, oh, she's my sister and I love my sister so much. And like, I know she's terrible and she does all these terrible things, but I have to forgive her. And I can't marry the father of her child, blah, 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 because like Rocio is on some shit. Like, you have to forgive your sister for what? For why? Like, she's been horrible to you. And why do you have to forgive her when there has been no apology? Like, she has to give you a reason to forgive. But telenovelas always do the thing in which the good girl is forgiving for no reason at all. So she's like, so Rocio and Tomas don't get married.
I'm just dying at Sharon. Like the new Darren on Bewitched, this will not stand. And also, okay, the pregnancy thing, yeah, Tomas can fuck off.
I mean the question of trigger warning, but Tomas wasn't entirely there when the conception happened. It's not great. It's not great. And like they make those storylines seem normal. They're not normal. Anyway, so Agustina has her child, but also Agustina continues to be the evil villain, and she's on some shit. And as it turns out, she's been fighting for Tomas's love against Rocio, but let's just say she hasn't been particularly faithful to him, because that's another telenovela trope. Like, girl is obsessed with getting the main guy from the good girl, but she has also been cheating on him the whole time. First, she cheated on him with his best friend.
These relationships get so complicated.
Then she cheated on him with Rocio's boyfriend. So that shit was a love quadrangle for a while. It was a love square. It was a love square because she hooked up with this guy who was dating Rocio. And then Tomas hires a private investigator. I mean, I don't think he's actually a private. I think he's actually a detective, like a legit detective, but he does like private investigation on the side. This telenovela is not logic, so don't tell me to explain, because I can't explain, because nothing makes sense. Anyway, this guy, who's going to be a very important character in the story, his name is Leonardo. He was a detective, and he's hired by Tomas to find Rocio's lost sister, because Rocio would like to find her and to reunite with her before the wedding that never happened. However, Leonardo finds out that Agustina is the sister, and he falls in love with her, and they start a relationship. So Leonardo is now Agustina's lover. At the end of season 1, Agustina has killed someone. I don't even remember the importance of this character in the show. Like, I tried to read the summary on Wikipedia. I showed it to my peeps, and they can attest, like Eeyore can attest, that Wikipedia article was a mess. But like, she kills someone, and she has to escape the country, so she doesn't go to prison, because she killed someone. She has to escape the country, and who other helps her escape the country with Leonardo but Rocio, her sister? She's like, oh no, you're my sister, and I'm going to help you. So she helped her escape. However, at the end of the season, the plane in which Leonardo and Agustina were living crashes, and they are now presumed dead. However, we didn't see a body. You see what I'm getting at? So season 2 starts with like, oh well, my sister's dead, and her son needs a mother. Might as well marry this guy. I was in love with him anyway. So Rocio is now married to Tomas, and they are raising their child, and they are raising the child that he had with Agustina, Tomasito. This is a, by the way, the poor child who played Tomasito. The entire fandom, the entire telenovela watching community was concerned for this child, because in every scene the poor kid was crying. when
Oh
he was
no.
like, I was like,
That's so
someone being
sad.
someone being mean to the poor kid. Like, do we need to call someone to rescue this child? Because usually child actors are very like well behaved and like, but this one's a baby and then later on a toddler. So um oh, hi Astrid, and don't worry, you're not, no one's ever late. You know how to, that
Hello.
that doesn't work like that on Twitch. Don't worry. Also, you're fashionably late. I am talking about this show that makes no sense. Anyway, so recap, Agustina is presumed dead. Rocio ended up marrying Tomas because Agustina's dead, so like might as well. They are raising Agustina and Tomas's child together. Everything seems perfect and fine, which means ridiculous drama is coming up. um, so, first of all, did I mention that Tomas is an asshole? Because he is an asshole. This, I don't even know how to call him. Cheats on Rocio with the nanny.
Toya said they don't use twins for the show, for the baby, I mean, question mark.
I believe I think they should have, but I don't know if like the child labor laws and stuff are like similar to in the States, but they should have done that. If they didn't, they should have done that. Yeah, but like you can like calm the baby down, like it's
Right, like you can
not
have a happy baby on set, for example.
it's not normal that the baby's always crying. And it's also not normal that the show didn't give up and got another baby. Like people wouldn't have complained because they would have been like, oh, I'm happy that this baby is now not stressed by everything. Anyway, so this piece of work cheats on his wife with the nanny. And it was like, and she's not, and the nanny is like a non entity in the story. Like they added that just to add drama, and she later on is no longer even a character. However, later on they need someone else to take care of the child because of course this other lady wasn't going to continue to be hired. And a woman shows up looking for employment at Tomas's and at Tomas and Rocio's house. Her name is Amelia, and she comes from Spain, and she's very mysterious, and we don't know a lot about her, but she earns the trust of Rocio and Tomas, and she seems very good with Tomasito, so she is employed in the house. She is employed in the house now as Tomasito's nanny, caregiver, whatever, because both of their parents work, and they have the money to hire someone like that. Because now suddenly, Rocio, who used to be a preschool teacher, is now in law school and wants to be a lawyer. But we never see her go to school. Like she never studies, and she's going to be a lawyer, and she's
Just
supposed
magic.
to have excellent grades and be
Even
super
Elle Woods had to study. Come on.
And like she's supposed to be like the first in her class and whatever. Like, and I'm like, she doesn't even. We don't even see her go to school. All she does is be involved in drama. Like, when does she have time to even do homework? I don't get
I'm
it.
dying.
Anyway,
Toya said, but also cheating with the nanny is so cliche. And also, oh yeah, it's definitely not right that the baby's always crying. And Kat is here and said, OMG, the hair looks better in live action. We love the hair so much.
Thank you. I am very happy with it.
I'm still cracking up at Mommy couldn't get over the great short pixie cut incident of 1996.
Oh yeah, like that was I mean, that was granted, that was a rougher time for me because I was the one being bullied for it. Anyway, but like but yeah, I was a bit harsh to her when I got that pixie cut. Maybe she's a little traumatized. We're going to have a talk about it eventually. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, the new girl who shows up and is now the child's nanny. As the audience, we know that something is up with this lady. We know. We're like, I don't know. She's kind of sketchy. Like, I think that she's going to pull some nonsense. The way she looks at people is kind of sad. Like, she might be the imposter. She might be the imposter. Turns out we were all right, and she is in fact the imposter because she is in fact Agustina with a new face.
Dun dun dun.
The evil sister didn't die in the accident. There was a kerfuffle, there was a mistake, and the plane that crashed was another plane, not the one in which Agustina and Leonardo were escaping.
Gasps in Spanish. Also, I love this. Yes, Fefy is indeed a treat to behold. And listen, Toya,
so
autocorrect gets us all. Autocorrect. You know.
Yeah, autocorrect is a mess, but we all understand. Don't worry. So, what happened? Because I have never fully explained. I have never fully explained the whole. I mean, I have mentioned the whole sister who traveled to change her face. So
Toya said, LOL, LMAO, new face, stop. And then Kat said, not face off, part 45.
Yeah, it basically face off. Basically face off. And I'm going to explain to you why. So Agustina and Leonardo ran off to Turkey. And there, Agustina finds out that Rocio has married Tomas and she is now Tomasito's mother. And she's like, no, but I want to, but like, I love my child. I want to raise him. I know I had to escape, but I need to go back to Chile and recover him, blah, 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 blah. But as it turns out, Leonardo is a trash can of a man, a terrible person, about as bad as Tomas, but like dangerous. First of all, he's a creepy stalker. And second of all, he's abusive towards Agustina, and he forbids her to go back to Chile, and he turns very violent, and it's a whole mess because like he's obsessed with her. So Agustina relies on Leonardo's brother Ricardo to help her and get her out of the situation. And in between him getting her out of the situation, they fall in love as well. So Ricardo helps her go to an undisclosed location in Europe
Oh God.
to meet a plastic surgeon so she can have a new face and go back to Chile. Here's the plot twist about, yeah, there's yet another plot twist about that plot twist, because telenovelas are a can of worms.
I wish Mo was here.
There's yet another. I don't think Mo would be able to get. I mean, she probably would have guessed the Amelia is actually Agustina plot twist because she's smart. But like all the other ones, let me tell you what happens. So Ricardo shows the plastic surgeon the picture of a woman. So he can model Agustina's new face after her. Turns out, and this is super creepy, the picture is a picture of Ricardo's ex-girlfriend, Samantha.
That is super creepy.
Who was his first love. And I'm like, bro, you want your girlfriend to look like your ex-girlfriend?
That's pretty sus, bro.
This, by the way, is a storyline that the writers came up with because the original, I'm going to explain the behind the scenes part. The original actress who played Agustina in the first seasons of the show, because now there's been a time jump, got pregnant during the first season. And that's why they added the pregnancy, that she's pregnant with Tomas's baby storyline as well. And here we are, in this country, is fucking trash, but we actually have maternity leave. And it's fairly long. So the actress went on maternity leave and she could no longer be on the show. And she could not, yeah. What are they saying?
Kaz said, why these storylines for the women? Ugh, and also not really Augustina, really a horse in a costume. And Astrid said, getting a whole new face is quite drastic. And Toya's just exasperated.
Yeah, so they hire a new actress to play Agustina in the meantime. But people were like, how are you going to explain that Agustina has a different face now, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, oh yeah, we're going to write a storyline in which Agustina changes her whole entire face to recover her son. This is totally normal. Like, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We know what we're doing. So they do that. And when the original Agustina, she was out of maternity leave, she came back to the show, meaning she went to the undisclosed location in Europe and changed her face again. Yeah, you can't make that shit up. But the actress who played Agustina / Amelia, we call her Agusmelia. The actress who was playing Agusmelia, in the meantime, gained a lot of fans, and people were like, oh, we want her to stay on the show. Like, writers, what can you do to keep her in the show? So they introduce the character of Samantha, and they add the story about how she used to be Ricardo's girlfriend. So that's why, and he loved her so much, but circumstances separated them. So that's why he gave his new girlfriend his old girlfriend's face. And we were like, I don't know, man. Like, this show is so weird. They might as well. So they did that, and so that's why they did the thing with the changing face and everything. So Agusmelia whistles her way into Tomas's heart and also into his pants.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Yeah, basically. So in the meantime, Rocio and Tomas are understandably having a bit of trouble because this man is there. Like, she loves him, but she also knows that he sucks anyway. So Rocio finds out that um, Agustina might be alive and she wants to find her. Like, never mind that she still hated her guts even though she helped her. But like, she wants to find her, blah 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 blah. It's like, I will never understand telenovela protagonists. They have no functioning brain. So she and a friend who is a lawyer who happens to be in love with Rocio travel to Turkey because they have a lead that she's in Turkey. And Agustina is like, this is my opportunity to seduce Tomas and have my child back. So when they're in Turkey, Rocio realizes that Agustina is no longer in Turkey because she's back in Chile and she changed her face and she's Amelia. And she has this weird dream in which she comes back home and she and Amelia are face to face, and she's like, don't worry, I know who you are, I love you and I forgive you, and they hug and whatever.
What?
What happens instead is Rocio comes back to Chile. She goes back to her home. She goes to her room and she finds Tomas in bed with Agusmelia and Tomasito. Like a happy little family, which they could have been had Agustina not killed someone. But like, maybe if you hadn't done crime, you wouldn't have had to do all these things. But I digress. So Rocio, now heartbroken, is like obviously devastated that her husband cheated on her again with the nanny again. But she's even more devastated that her poor sister had to resort to such desperate measures because she wants her child back and she wants to give her the chance to have her child back. So she basically asks for a divorce from Tomas and she steps aside. She's like, I am going to sacrifice my happiness and I'm going to step aside so my sister can have the family that she always wanted, blah, 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 blah. She never tells Tomas that, hey, the lady that you've been fucking is actually your ex, who is the mother of your child, who is also my sister. No biggie, like, oh yeah, Amelia, you should marry Amelia. Like, that's great. It's not, I don't love you anymore, blah, 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 whatever. They have like a dramatic going to sign the divorce papers scene. And in that scene, there's like a secretary character, like an extra, pretending to be like the secretary at Tomas's job. And she's supposed to be typing, but all she's doing is like act weird in the background.
I love that shit.
And everyone is like, what is with the secretary? Also, there's this part in which Rocío, what's his face? And I'm so sad that I don't remember what's his face name because he's actually an important character. But like the guy, the lawyer that is in love with her and he was going to help her find Agustina, you know, that guy. They go to Barcelona and they take the train, but it's clearly the train at the Chilean Central Station. Like clearly they didn't change anything. It's like, hey, we're broke. We don't have the budget to go to actual Barcelona. We're not even going to do a green screen. We're just going to be like, yes, we know we're on Central Station here. You're going to have to suspend your disbelief and pretend that they're in Barcelona. Don't worry, once again, don't worry about it. It's fine. We know what we're doing.
Kat said, not sure what's worse, this idea or the car accident new face idea. If acting in these doesn't give actors complexes, I need the number of their therapists. Sharon asked, can we get new faces in Europe too? And then also, yes, an army of Kardashians is a horror movie plot. Hello, Christine, and
Hi,
tuning
Christine.
in on your lunch break. Welcome. These folks are wild.
Yeah,
Tomas
they are.
ends up with the secretary, the bad acting secretary.
It's just a plot.
Acts natural and type, doesn't blink for 5 minutes. It gets very sweaty.
Yeah, she's supposed to be like typing, but she's like being messy in the background, which like honestly, she's not the hero we deserve, but she's the hero we need. So anyway, in the meantime, I forgot to mention another little detail. So Laura, the sister's mother, figures out that Amelia is actually Agustina earlier than everyone else. And Agustina finds nothing better than to run her over with her car to get rid of her because she's going to ruin her plan. So Laura ends up in a coma for like half of that season. So in the end of that season, Rocío is visiting Laura, and Laura is now agonizing, like we're 100% sure that she's going to die during that scene. And she's like, oh yeah, like I know that Amelia is Agustina, and she tells her like everything because her mom is not going to snitch because she's in a coma. Anyway, so she tells her all of that. And then in the end, she's like, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant with Tomas's baby, but Tomas will never find out. I will raise the child on my own because I don't want to ruin Agustina's happiness, blah, 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 blah.
What?
And then Laura dies. and that's the end of the season. Yeah, like she's like, not only I'm going to make another sacrifice, like, girl, you're back in your neighborhood now. You're in law school, so of course you had student loans to pay. Are you sure you don't want alimony? Like, Tomas is rich. He can help you with the child. Why are you like, you're not, if he's supposed to be so happy in his marriage to Agus Melia, you're not going to be ruining his marriage. Like, you can co-parent. Why are you making this ridiculous sacrifice and like keeping the father of your child's identity? Like, no. But,
Kat said, I would genuinely love to be around for this writing process. Wow. And Christine said, rational thinking exited stage left.
Yeah, I mean, rational thinking for Rocio exited stage left in episode 1, honestly. Like, this girl is, both sisters are a whole mess. Anyway, by the way, like, so is that the actual end of season 2, or am I forgetting the detail? By the way, is this when Rocio's ex-boyfriend dies? A lot of characters die, by the way. Like, don't get attached to a character in that show. Like, if it's a good character, they are dead. If they're dead, they're dead for good. Rocio's ex dies because Leonardo, who's back in Chile to get Agustina back, even though she doesn't want him back because he's a creepy stalker, kills this guy. He also kills his own mother, who was also evil, but like, she was your ally and that's how you obey her. Like, bro, calm down a second.
Like, why?
A lot of characters die. Like, from this point on, please keep in mind that I can't keep the storyline straight for most of it. Tomas is now married to Agusmelia. He still doesn't know that Amelia is actually Agustina. Agustina is like, ooh, my plan is working. I'm going to be able to escape. When Tomas is in a business trip, I'm going to grab my child and I'm going to escape with him someplace else. And I'm going to be reunited with Ricardo and we're going to be happy together, like a happy family. That's not going to happen, girl, but go off, I guess. She's discovered by Tomas on the last second. He realizes that he's been, I don't even know what to tell you that he's been, because like, that man doesn't know what good decisions are. He never met good decisions. Good decisions never went to school with him. Good decisions never lived in his neighborhood. Like, I don't know her. Common sense. We don't know her.
Kat said there's possibly more, and the writers can't even keep the storyline straight. We don't expect you to be able to. You make more sense than they do. And Astrid said, when showrunners were adding a pinch of drama, they accidentally dropped in the whole jar. And
but at that point, Tomasito is like 2 years old, and still a very fussy child, which is like, they should have recasted. No one would have complained, but that's a story for another day. So is that when the time jump happens? No, not yet. So Agustina is running away with Tomasito, her child, but she's intercepted by Leonardo, and there's a kidnapping, and Tomasito is kidnapped, and he's suspected dead, but something goes wrong, and Leonardo ends up in the hospital. So after all that nonsense after all that situation that makes zero sense, and I'm trying to explain it as best as I can, but it honestly makes zero sense. Turns out, Tomasito has gone missing. We don't know where he is. Leonardo is in the hospital. Agustina has had a break with reality, and she has now been committed, because of course you have to be like, if a telenovela is going to be problematic and offensive, of course you have to be ableist at some point.
Of course.
Of course. And what other, like, in the whole, she went crazy and she's now in like committed somewhere. That is such a prevalent storyline, especially in telenovelas that rely on like cheap melodrama in the way that this one does. And it's terrible, and I hate it, and I have always hated it, because like, why? And it's so disrespectful. Like, they don't even handle the thing with tact. Everything is very cliche, and like, no, it's awful. It's honestly awful. So Tomas is like, my child is dead, and this man killed him. So Tomas goes to the hospital with a gun, and he shoots Leonardo a million gajillion times, and Leonardo dies. But once again, we didn't see a body.
Yeah.
However,
and Sharon said mental illness is used insensitively by so many writers. Yeah, it's all over television.
Yeah. And now, yeah, it's awful. It's so terrible. And also, like, it's never handled, like, if mental illness was handled with a lot more tact, it would be, not only would it be better for the storyline, it would also be more helpful. It would actually be like a helpful resource for people. It would help destigmatize mental illness, because if we look at a telenovela, it's a very easily accessible type of media. It usually airs in channels that are free for everyone. Like, you don't have to pay cable here to watch a telenovela. It's all in network TV. So everyone who can afford to have or even like to have a TV at work, and you watch it during lunchtime, you have access to it, and you could maybe, like, while being entertained, learn something. But no, the writers decide to be lazy, because the melodramatic, stereotypical nonsense is what sells, which is awful. So Tomas is now on trial because he killed Leonardo, and like, he didn't even do anything to hide his crime. Like, he went to the hospital pretending that he was visiting. He didn't give a false name. Everyone saw him the murder is caught on camera. Like, he's the worst criminal I have ever met in my life. But still, he's on trial for this. And at the same time, he finds nothing better than try to get Rocio back. Like, you're going to go to prison because you murdered someone. Like, I know he was a villain and like he kind of deserved it, but I mean, he definitely deserved it. But like, that's now is not the time to try to get your girl, your wife. Like, now is not the time. Read the room, sir. Read the room. Anyway, he's like, I know you are not now going to marry. Oh God, I forgot his. I'm going to Wikipedia this real quick, yo, because it's going to bother me because this other dude, it's also important on the plot for the plot. So, but like, he's like, I know you're going to marry him, but I know you love me. Like, give me another chance. I know that I'm a criminal and I'm going to go to jail. And I'm like, why? What? Also,
sir, you should be thinking about your defense.
Yeah, like, also, is Tomas also a lawyer? Or did I imagine that he at some point said that he didn't need a defense attorney? I mean, that's a pretty Tomas move to make.
Is he an avocado?
I don't remember. Because
And for
he's
anyone who
so...
doesn't know, avocado and lawyer are very similar in French.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same in Spanish, but
It's abogado in Spanish.
yeah, I can't, like, it's advocat, and I can't remember if that's lawyer or avocado, but they're so close together, like, they're very close.
I mean, it kind of comes, it kind of like...
And Sharon said
What is
maybe
this
he
guy
wanted to get caught
name?
because his first girlfriend is the warden of the local's men's prison.
Okay, so I am getting all the Leonardo. Ooh, Leonardo's mom, who was killed by Leonardo, also killed a whole bunch of people for her son. So I'm even more like, that's how you pay her, bro? What is this guy name? Oh yeah, Rafael. Now I remember. Okay, so Rocio is now going to marry this guy, Rafael, her friend, who's always been in love with her. And he's like, I know you're having Tomas's baby, but we're going to pretend that he's mine. It's going to be fine. Once again, we know what we're doing. And Tomas knows that Rocio is pregnant, and he's like, I know that you and Rafael are going to have a baby, but like, you can still be with me, and you can co-parent with him. And I'm like, bro, you're going to go to jail. Get it in your brain. You are guilty. You were caught on camera. No one else could have been the murderer. You are guilty. You're going to go to prison. But no, he's like, baby, give me one more chance. And I'm like, bro, she's not. Like, Rocio still loves him for some reason, but she's very hurt by all he did to her. And she's also like, bro, you did a whole murder. You killed someone.
Bro.
You're going to, I'm a, she's like, I know I'm not a lawyer yet, but like I am a law student and I'm the smartest, best law student in the country, even though I never go to school. Like, and I'm never seen studying, but like, I am brilliant like that. But like, I know that you're going to go to prison because like, there's no possible defense for this guy. So they have a fight because Tomas is an entitled jerk who doesn't understand why the woman he loves doesn't want him back. I mean, never mind that he's supposed to be a criminal. Like, you're going to jail. So he is obviously declared guilty, goes to prison, and then the show has a time jump. So like now everyone is older, but they all look the same because the magic of TV. Rocio obviously have her child, that is Tomas's child, but he's being raised by Rafael. Rafael has a weird disease and is dying, but he doesn't want to tell anyone in his family. The only one who knows is Rocio, so she's like in charge of him. I mean, Rafael is now disabled, which is another thing that they handle very poorly. He's in a wheelchair, but what people don't know is that he's like dying, like it was caused by the disease, which we never figure out what disease it was, and once again, a storyline that's handled very poorly. And the new character that is added to this whole disaster is Eliana, she is Rafael, no. Whose sister is she? I mean, she's actually Leonardo's sister. Oh yeah, she's Ricardo's sister. But she's also close to Rafael because they're close and they're from the same neighborhood, blah, blah. And Eliana thinks that Leonardo is dead, and she was like his biggest ally. So she's like, Tomas ruined my life because he killed my brother. So I'm going to get revenge on him, and I'm going to get revenge on Rocio because like Tomas is in love with her, blah 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 blah. So she's like all buddy with the family. Like, wait, I'm having a moment in which the family tree is not making sense to me. 1 second. Windows shutdown noise just happened in my brain. Because I'm not keeping the facts straight, because not even the show keeps the facts straight. So yeah. Rafael and Ricardo are actually related, but they are like brothers from another mister. Like, but they're or from another mother. Yeah, they're brothers from another mother. Actually, yeah, that makes more sense. So Eliana is actually is actually supposed to be his son's aunt. So she's Rocio's sister-in-law. And she's like, oh, we're super buddy, and like, I'm so nice. And the child actually likes Eliana better than Rocio because Rocio has become a misogynistic storyline in which, to make her empowered, they made her like cold and calculating, and she only cares about her career, and all she does is work, and she's like rude and sassy now, and she's cheating on her husband with his friend, and it's a whole mess. And that's supposed to be empowering. So Eliana whistles her way into Rocio's child's heart. He likes his aunt better than he likes his mom, because his mom is never there. And in the meantime, sometimes Eliana takes Rocio's child on outings to prison to visit Tomas, because she knows that this kid is actually Tomas's child. So she's like, Rocio lied to you. She hid the fact that you were having, that she was having your baby. And I want, and I'm but a good Samaritan, and I want to introduce your son to you, because you deserve the truth, and you deserve to be close to your son, and like, you have suffered so much, and I am here for you. Another. I wouldn't have put that past the writers, but they didn't do that. Yeah, they need to be also rude and abusive, and like, that's why I never go like, I never vibe with that kind of storyline, honestly. So, as a result of these visits from Eliana to prison to see Tomas and to introduce him to his child, Tomas starts having fantasies of happily frolicking in the meadows with Eliana and his child. He has fallen in love with her, because that man sees a trash can and falls in love with it, honestly. Like, he's not loyal, and he has never been. Rocio was supposed to be the love of his life, and he cheated on her twice, and now he's in love with the villain. And those scenes are hilarious. Like, imagine like one of those commercials with like the happy family frolicking in a field, and it's like, and the sun is shining, and everything is very like, it's pretty, but it's also very artificial. That's the vibe that this gives. Yeah, but this isn't like a flashback containing frolicking. This is like Tomas's imagination that when he gets out of prison, he's going to start a family with Eliana. So, wow, I'm only in like season 3, and I'm already tired. I have to say, how long have we been here? We have been here for very long. But like, Ice, are you there?
I am here. I'm so sorry. I was posting something to Instagram. There was a medical racism thing that came up for Columbus, so I was posting a call to action for
Oh, okay,
my
okay.
fellow Ohio peeps.
Yeah. So like if you're
I
interested
just
in
love
that,
a flashback containing frolicking is also familiar.
yeah, basically. Yeah. That's very common as well. But like, oh yeah, like that's very cool. So you should, so if you want to see what that's about, you should go to Eeyore's Instagram after this. So what what happens after that? Oh, there's a new lawyer at the firm where Rocio, Rafael, and Diego, her lover, work at. And she used to be one of Diego's students. And she had the hot for him. So she's like, once again, another like cold and calculating woman who hates Rocio and wants to steal her man. And I'm like, again, this is exhausting. Can we stop with the love triangle? Like, I know love triangle is like a pillar of the telenovela of the genre, but like, can we not? Can we stop for the come up with something more? You have had the imagination to come up with sister who went to Europe to change her face, and you're going to tell me you don't have the creativity to come up with something more original than a love triangle? Like, does that make sense to any of you? And I know writers think that shit sells, but fandoms in general are so tired of it. Like when there's like a team this guy or team that guy, like some people dive into that shit head first. But most of the fandom is like, I am tired of the team's bullshit. Like I wasn't in the Twilight fandom, but I knew a lot of people who were like that. So anyway, this girl becomes allies with Eliana to ruin Rocio's life. So they let Rafael know that that Rocio's cheating on him. Then Rafael dies. He dies in another country, and he was with Rocio, and this was because Rafael wanted Rocio to help him die, and that is not something that you can do in this country. That is illegal here. So they go to a country where that's actually illegal, where that's actually legal, and he dies. But then Eliana makes up a whole thing about how, oh, Rocio killed him, and that means she's like a terrible person, and now I'm entitled to the custody of her child, and because I am his aunt, and Tomas is out of prison, so now he's together with Eliana, and there's then it all becomes like a nebulous pile of bullshit that includes highlights such as tiny, skinny wisp of a thing, new girl from the firm who wants to get in Rocio's lover's pants, going to Rocio's neighborhood and throwing a Molotov cocktail on her window that she got out of nowhere. And I'm like, since when? Also, Agustina is out of her commitment for her mental health. She's still not doing well, but she's still not doing well. But at least she's better, and she's trying to rebuild her life. And she has taken a liking to this guy named Marco, who moved into the neighborhood with his son, Cristobal. And Cristobal happens to be actually Tomasito, who was supposed to be dead. Tomasito was never dead. He was actually kidnapped. Eliana had him, and then at the end of the season, she was like, she gave him to Marco, who is her lover. And she was like, this is a very nice child, so treat him like your son and get him away from everyone so they never find him again. But coincidences of life, Marco ends up moving to the neighborhood in which all the people who need to find this child are living in. So it's I don't even know if I'm telling you everything in order anymore. The Wikipedia article wasn't in order either. Like, they messed up the timeline of season 2 so bad that I was like, I don't trust these people anymore.
We don't trust it.
Yeah, I don't trust it. So Agustina, who is now nice, and she gets along with Rocio because they're sisters, so they might as well. Never mind that Rocio knows that Agustina killed her mother, but like, once again, go off, I guess. So they get along better now, and Rocio is actually helping. Rocio, who is now, she has been disbarred. She has lost all her money. She has lost the custody of her child. So she has to come back to her neighborhood and live life as a poor person once again. So she's like, might as well help my sister feel better. Maybe her child isn't dead. We will find him, and her entire life now revolves around, one, helping her sister, and two, getting revenge on Eliana. But that's a story for another day. So Eliana has now fallen in love with Tomas, and she feels guilty because she's in love with the man who killed her brother, and that is and like, she was supposed to get revenge on him, blah blah blah. And during these episodes of guilt, Leonardo, her brother, appears to her in her room, in her house, as a ghost, to be like, oh, why have you betrayed me, sister? And it's all very dramatic. So she's like now seeing visions of this guy, and then she feels super guilty, but she's still hooking up with Tomas. And like, listen, I feel super guilty and my ghost brother is giving me shit, but I am still entitled to the carrot. But it turns out that she is not actually seeing a ghost. Who she is seeing is a troll, because Leonardo has been alive all along. Once again, if you're watching a TV show and you don't see a body, the person is not dead. And also, surprise, I'm back from the dead. It's a telenovela and soap opera plot device that is used very often. What happens next? Agustina finds out that Cristobal is actually Tomasito. So she gets closer to Marco to recover her child. And also, she's mad at Marco because she thought he was good, and like she finally found someone good and stuff, and like because she had been with Ricardo, but the whole situation that happened with her fractured their relationship. In the meantime, Samantha, who is Ricardo's first love, who he modeled Agus Melia after to the plastic surgeon, shows up in the neighborhood, and once again, offensive storyline again. Samantha and her mother are both sex workers, and it's not handled in the most tactful way. Samantha also has a daughter named Julieta, who is actually Diego and Rocio's new lover daughter, who was also conceived in sketchy circumstances because why? Like, you could have had these people be like exes. And oh, surprise, I have a child. I had a child with you. Hey, this is going to be a conflict. But no, they had to make Diego, who was at that point like, oh yeah, like we are rooting for Rocio to end up with Diego because he's a good person. Nope. He's a rapist. Ugh. And even then, Samantha is still into him. At writers, hello, writers, can you explain this? Also, Julieta is fairly old. Like, she's not like a small child. She had her very young. So Samantha's mother is passing her as is passing Julieta as her daughter as well. They're passing as sisters. This changes later on. Oh wow, what else am I forgetting? Because I am trying to speed this up because we are getting to what activated me into making this episode, which is the 25 years later season. So, what you need to know is that Leonardo is pissed at Eliana because she's in love with Tomas. She's no longer loyal. She's no longer an ally. So someone starts sending evidence of Eliana's evil to Rocio, who is now like an amateur private investigator. Like, and she goes to like an undisclosed location in the other side of the city in which there's like a basement in which she has a murder board, and she actually wears different outfits to go there, like to be extra. Like she's like a sad, poor, no longer a lawyer anymore by day, but then she's all black wearing badass investigator but by night. Like, and this makes sense. How? We don't know. So she starts getting these pieces of information from this individual who calls themselves El Santo, the saint, which is pretty ironic considering who he actually is, but so she starts gathering the information, and she's like, dude, you have more information for me, I want to meet you. So he's like, oh yeah, like, meet me in this location, now you will know who I actually am. So Rocio goes to the undisclosed location without telling Diego, which they're still together. She doesn't know the whole other situation. And that is very damaging to her relationship because she's now obsessed with revenge, which is another storyline that I hate. Like, I love me a revenge storyline, but the whole, oh, this is actually bad, you are stooping to their level. And I'm like, sometimes you have to stoop to their level. Like, we have, Eeyore and I have talked about this. I am understanding, and like, I admire people who don't take the low road, but sometimes you gotta take the low road. So
we have talked about this.
yeah, but like, I support Rocio taking the low road, because like, Eliana stole her baby, hooked up with her ex,
That's a lot.
killed a whole bunch of, she has killed so many people. Like, she has done more murder than her brother did, and that
An
is
actual serial murderer.
like, she randomly killed a guy who was a lot bigger and stronger than her, and he was like actually like ex-military or something, and she killed him in like 5 minutes, and everyone is like,
you gotta look out for those little
super,
people.
and I'm like, damn, is she Superwoman or something? Like, how is she so strong? She
Flew
also
in under his
killed,
radar.
yeah. She also killed Molotov cocktail girl, because
She's
she
killing
didn't,
everybody.
because she didn't finish the job of killing Rocio, so she was no longer useful to her.
How dare.
I'm like, yeah, like, I know you. And that scene, the Molotov cocktail scene, is so ridiculous, because is this girl, like, imagine this like conventionally attractive blonde skinny girl wearing business casual, hair done, and she's like casually
Not
walking
business
down,
casual.
and she's like, my girl was wearing a blazer while throwing that Molotov cocktail. A blazer.
Clearly channeling Fefy.
I'm like, listen, I am a fan of a blazer, but that is not Molotov cocktail throwing attire. Like, blazers can be constraining, it's going to mess with your throwing arm. Like it does, but like she was like, oh, I need to be fashionable, like
You're
throwing
right,
a
though.
like terrorism, but make it
Blazers
fashion.
and suit jackets are not conducive to a full range of motion with your arms.
Yeah, like, but she was like, terrorism, but make it fashion. But she didn't.
Sharon said seems an odd fashion choice.
Yeah, very odd.
Form over function.
Yeah, honestly. So she is murdered because she's no longer useful. Who else? She's killed so many people. Anyway, but
Kat said, I mean pockets, though. That just killed me.
yeah, but the pocket isn't even big enough for a Molotov cocktail. Also,
True.
she was walking down the street in a
Singing
populated
do I
area.
do.
Like she was walking down the street in a populated area with a Molotov cocktail. And no one was like, "Oh, this is kind of weird. Like, what is this girl doing?" Like,
She was just doing the thing I do, a cocktail, diddy dee.
yeah, she was like, having a little stroll, all casual, like
Was she hiding it in her tote bag?
she didn't even have a tote bag. She had like a regular purse. I don't understand, but
I'm dying. This is amazing.
So, but going back to Eliana and all the murders that she's done, Rocio has been trying to tell Tomas forever that Eliana is evil and whatever, and he's like, no, but I love her and she's good, and like, how dare you? She's an angel, pretty much, which proves that once again Tomas is the weakest link. Like, I don't know if you have noticed, but all these situations could have been avoided had Tomas kept it in his pants. All
Tomas,
of it.
come on.
All of it. The entire show could have been avoided if Tomas had kept it in his pants. But no, he's like, oh no, she's perfect and amazing, and like, I don't believe you because you're evil, because you lied to me about my son, and now I can be with Eliana because she has custody of my son, and we can be a little happy family frolicking in the meadows for real and not in my dreams.
I've given up on cooking, sitting on the floor, really thinking about this whole show.
Oh my god, am I traumatizing everyone?
No, I'm
Sorry.
laughing. Sharon said both purses are big enough for a wee flask at least. Plus, there are several strap-on models.
But for a bomb that you throw at a window to try to
Right, like
burn
the only thing I can think of is a tote bag because I had a tote bag that I definitely put ices in and snuck into the movie theater. So
yeah,
it was like
that's,
big enough for a big ass icy.
I mean, if it's big enough for that, it's big enough for a Molotov cocktail.
Right?
Like, so anyway, Tomas is on some bullshit. So Rocio is like, fine, I'm going to take this bitch down myself because I am badass now. I can confirm, like, and you can confirm that I'm badass because when I go to my super secret mystery solving basement, I wear all black. And also I have a new haircut, which, like, I also have a new haircut and I feel pretty badass. And I'm wearing all black today. So
Listen, you
I
look
understand
amazing.
you, Rocio, you're my people. Except you are not my people at all because a lot of your decisions make zero sense. Starting with falling in love with that. But yeah. So Rocio goes to the undisclosed location to which El Santo has summoned her. And then there's this moment in which, like, dramatic turning around in the swivel chair, like, hi, do you remember me? I am Leonardo. I am back. So that's how she realizes that El Santo is actually Leonardo. And they become allies. And what happens is that Leonardo, who used to be in love, translation, obsessed with Rocio's sister Agustina, is now in love with Rocio and wants to help her. And they develop a romance. Yes, the protagonist is having a romantic relationship with the main villain, who is now back. And I'm like, you are on some bullshit. And that's when they stopped filming because of the Ronies for a while. When she finds out that El Santo is Leonardo and now they're allies and they have a thing. So because of the Ronies, everyone had to quarantine. My city was in quarantine for a very long time. Production on every fictional television content was stopped. But later on, the restrictions were lifted and everything was fine. Sounds fake, but okay. And now they're back filming. So they filmed the second part of season 5. Is it season 5? The fact that this nonsense has seasons is what solidifies it as not a telenovela, because telenovelas don't have seasons. They're like a one linear storyline that has a beginning and an end. And nothing else. So, here's the thing. There's this scene. There's this new character. Oh, we're going to add xenophobia to the list of problematic, offensive things that they have done. There's this guy. He's Venezuelan, yeah. Came to Chile to find a better life. This is a very reoccurring theme in real life here. Moves to the neighborhood, and he finds out a lot of sketchy shit that Eliana has done. So he's now in Eliana's radar. He's now in Eliana's radar as someone who she needs to get rid of. So what happens, I didn't watch this, but I watched the previous scene. This poor man ends up dead, but the scene in which she kills him is ridiculous. It goes like this. She kidnaps him and takes him to an undisclosed location. He is tied to the bed. Eliana is pointing a gun at him because he knows who El Santo, the saint, is. So she's like, you need to tell me who El Santo is. And she's like, I'm going to kill you. And she's pointing the gun at him. And suddenly Eliana's phone rings. Eliana's phone rings and she's like, "Oh, hi, honey. I'm in a spa with my friends. How are you?" Like, you can't make that shit up. She's like, "Oh, you got the house now? We're going to move in. I'm so happy. I love you so much." And then she hangs up and she's like, "Tell me everything you know or I'm going to kill you." Like, I was like, what? Imagine that, like, your murderer changes her entire demeanor because her partner, who doesn't know that she's a murderer, is calling her.
Man, I would be so upset. I'd be like, this fucker better find me.
So this poor soul dies, sadly. But on the bright side, Rocio and Leonardo are on the case, and they are very close to uncovering Eliana's evil. Also, oh wow! Out of the offensive storylines, I forgot to mention the homophobic one, but long story short, Tomas's best friend is in love with Tomas, and he has a wife, and his wife knows, and she's like, "I am moving to the south because I am never going to measure up to Tomas, and like, I know that you're in love with him." So they make him like the guy who is in love with the straight guy, and then that storyline goes nowhere, and now this character is no longer in the show, out of nowhere. So yeah, can telenovela writers stop for a second? So anyway, our dynamic duo, Rocio and Leonardo, are very close to uncovering all the evil deeds that Eliana has done. I don't know what kind of nonsense kerfuffle happens. There's a confront, but it all.
Kat said that. Is that the bright side? F me.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like, that's the bright side. Like, they're finally going to catch the villain after the villain has been doing nonsense for years, but go off. Anyway, so the situation starts mounting and mounting until there's a confrontation, once again in an undisclosed location, between Rocio and Eliana, in which there's shooting and stuff, but like,
I'm cracking up at the question that Kat asked. She just once I want someone to go to a disclosed location. It'd be easier to have everything on the listing always needed. Also, the same location? I mean, keep using it if it's undisclosed.
yeah.
Is it the same undisclosed location every time? We don't know.
I mean, Rocio's murder board investigation hideout is the same always. Where did she get the money to rent that? Because she was supposed to be poor and down on her luck.
Right?
Who the fuck knows? But like, the magic of TV once again. So there's this confrontation, and I didn't watch this episode. I'm going to be completely honest with you, but it probably happened like this. Like, Eliana probably did like a villain speech in which she confesses everything, and Tomas finally is like, "Oh wow, she was actually evil. Who would have thought that? It's not like everyone told me." So there's this confrontation. There's gunshots. The police comes. Eliana is arrested now. Like, she is in jail. And she's on trial for all the
Bonk,
shit
go to
that
killer jail.
like, she is on trial for all the shit that she's done because she's killed a whole bunch of people. She actually shot Tomas's friend. So it's even more upsetting and offensive that in the new season he's not even there. Like, we didn't find out if he ended up dead or alive. Like, we know nothing.
What the hell?
So
Sharon said, a safe houses on the fringes of the city.
yeah, basically. So Thomas is like, oh my God, I feel so guilty because I was with her and I didn't know she was evil, blah, 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 blah. You know, you could have known that she was evil because people would warn you about her once per episode, but you act like you know everything, and you don't know everything because you have been making bad decisions this entire show. But like, that man makes me stabby.
I mean, same, and I haven't even watched the show.
He's so bad at everything. It's baffling, honestly.
And the cats, they didn't know?
Like, he was told so
Thorn
many
came in with Stabby.
Listen, stabby is the feeling that I have when I watch that show. Anyway, so in the meantime, Rocio is no longer with Diego, but there's like a thing implying that she still loves him, or like they still love each other, and it's like dramatic music, and everyone is crying, and she's like, but I'm bad for you. You should be with Samantha because she's a good woman and you should raise your child together. And I'm like, do you remember how that situation happened? Like, the circumstances in which this child was conceived was not romantic at all, even though we are being gaslit into thinking that Diego and Samantha are a viable romantic pairing.
Kat is fully invested, and Sharon said, there used to be a sandwich shop called Stabby's. And Kat said, I like that. Is it because you put like a toothpick through a sandwich? Is that why it's Stabby's?
Probably. I mean, you got it. Sometimes sometimes the sandwich is too big and you have to cut it.
Sometimes
But
you need a
no
Stabby.
one, but like, no one goes like at a sandwich. Like, the toothpick is it's a better explanation. But I digress. Anyway, so needless to say, the only person who knows that Leonardo is back is Rocio, because they're a thing now.
And Leonardo. He knows he's back.
They're a thing now. This makes me feel very slimy. Not in a skincare way.
Oh no, not the good kind of snail slimy.
Yeah, this is not snail musing CeraVe buckets slimy. This is slimy. So after the dramatic "we can't be together anymore" scene between Rocio and Diego, Rocio, who is in her house, in her neighborhood, well, she knows for a fact the walls have ears and everyone listens to everyone, calls Leonardo. And she's like, I need to see you because and they're very weird and codependent as a couple. And he's like, no, I need to leave because like they're going to find me and I'm going to go to prison, blah blah blah, for all the crimes that I committed before. She's like, well, no, I need to see you because like we haven't seen each other since all the nonsense happened. What happens is Agustina happens to be wandering around. And she listens to the entire conversation and realizes that Rocio is talking to Leonardo, who, if you remember correctly, and I'm going to like remind you because this story is so convoluted, was her lover before, and then he was her abusive partner, and then he was her stalker who was obsessed with her. So that's not a very good look for your sister to be in a
No.
relationship with him. Like, I know that Agustina was evil for a long time, but she does have a point, you know? So Agustina, pissed off, goes to Tomas and she's like, this bitch is allies with Leonardo. Like, she is. Oh, and by the way, he also facilitated the kidnapping of her child. So she has the right to have a lot of grudges against this man. So she's like,
Seriously.
this bitch is now an ally with the guy who separated us from our child for years. And Tomas is like, this is unacceptable. We're going to go confront Rocio. So they're basically like, we hate you now. I don't know when Tomas stopped hating her. Oh yeah, there's a part in which they have a bit of a romantic love triangle nonsense, and they randomly make out, and Eliana catches them. That's neither here nor there. That's why I didn't even mention it before, because are they the most annoying telenovela couple I have ever witnessed? Probably. I can't think of a couple that rivals them in. I want to beat both of them up. But so Agustina and Tomas hate Rocio again because she is allies with a criminal, which valid. So they're like, you have two choices. You either leave the country and never come back, or you go to prison. And Rocio, devastated, decides to leave the country. And like everyone in the neighborhood found out that she's allies with this criminal man, and everyone hates her except for this one guy who is like very like fatherly to people. So he's like, I feel bad for you, like I'm sorry all of this happened, like I know you're good, I hope you have a good life in the other country where you're going, I wish you the best. And like he's the only person who shows her compassion. Oh, I forgot to mention, Eliana also killed Marco, who is the guy who raised the artist formerly known as Tomasito. During his young life, so he considered him a father and he loved him very much. But Eliana killed him because he fell in love with Agustina, and she found this unacceptable. And in killing Marco, she tries to frame Ricardo, her brother, for his murder. And now that Agustina and Ricardo are back together again, when did that happen? I don't know. She also finds that unacceptable. So a whole bunch of horrible things have happened. Everyone is sad. Rocio has to leave the country. And season 5, which ended a couple of weeks ago, ends with Rocio in the plane, crying. Everything is very dramatic, but there's this moment in which she turns around and she sees that Leonardo is in the plane with her. So they are living together, and they are going to Spain. And that's how the new season starts. But the new season did a 25-year time jump.
Oh, this is the show that did that.
Yeah, that is the show. That is the show that I am. Oh, this is. You think you heard the worst part? Get ready. So people are like, why are they extended this 25 years? It's like, this is ridiculous. Like, we are tired of this show. Come up with something new. We want a new show. And they're like, but you have a new show because like we have new characters now.
It's not the same.
Like technically, we are giving you what you want because there's new.
Sharon said new faces again.
Oh, now we're going to get to the weird genetics, but let me explain something first. So this show started in 2017, but it was never set in 2017. It was like set during our time, but they never give a date. And also, this, I think it was 7 years time jump that they did before, to introduce Eliana and everything. It's also set during a year during our time that we don't know what year it is. Like, did the Pantene Provi happen, or is this a universe? We don't know the time in which this is happening. We don't know the ages of the character. We just know that they age, but they still look the same. So what the writers are doing is it's a writing device that is called a floating timeline, and that is used in soap operas. That's why they last so long, and that's why you see like characters being aged super fast, people who are supposed to be like 20 years older looking the same, stuff like that. And like that's also very common in comics as well, like because like Superman has like different timelines, and then like, did these events in Superman's saga happen before or after this other? Like, we don't know because different writers writing different comics and stuff. So we don't know which year this show is set in. So for the 25 years later season, the newest one, they did age up the characters, and now they're being played by new actors, but we have no idea which year is setting. And also, I just made a mistake. The Panini did happen in this universe because there's this character who is the grandma of one of the characters, and every time someone enters her house, she's like, did you disinfect your hands? Because if you didn't disinfect your hands, I'm not letting you in. And one of the characters is like, but the pandemic happened so many years ago, like, and I'm always careful, like, stop overreacting, grandma, like. So yeah, that is a thing that did happen. But which year are we in now, in the 25 years later?
It's a mystery.
25 years from when? We don't know. And this is when weird genetics take place. So Tomasito is no longer called Tomasito. His name is Cristobal because that's the name he was raised with by his adoptive father, Marco. May he rest in peace. And he loved him very much. So like they're like, okay, so your name is Cristobal, whatever. We're not going to call you Tomasito anymore because you don't even remember when you were that person. He is being played by the same actor who used to play Tomas. He is now playing his son.
How did I know?
He is now playing his son. And no one makes a reference to, oh, wow, you look so much like your father. No, he just looks identical to his father. And
What?
everyone is like, that is Cristobal. Yeah, whatever. Once again, I have to figure out names. Tomas is now being played by an actor who used to be like a huge heartthrob in the 80s and 90s in telenovelas. And so he's being played by this guy, and this guy is at least 60 something, because sadly he was diagnosed with the Ronies, but lucky for him, he had already had his vaccine because he's in the age group to get the vaccine. So like, it's cool, he's fine. We're happy for him. But so Tomas, in the 25 years later season,
I don't have Twitch up right now, so I'm sorry, I can't do anything with that person.
oh, I'm not even seeing comments right now. You know how my eyes are. I have Twitch open though, so don't worry. I am an old binge. That being said, anyway, so
Even though you
I
look
am
like
looking for the next.
even though you look like baby, like the rest of us.
I am 35 years old, but I look like baby. So let me look up the name of this girl, because it's going to bother me if I don't find it. So no, this is not what I'm looking for. Thank you. Now we're talking. Anyway, so let me look at the season 5 thingy, because I need to get this right. Otherwise, I'm going to be very confused. So well, Rocio and Leonardo are now in Spain, and they have a daughter. They're married and they have a daughter. And what happened here is, guess what? The actress who used to play Rocio is now playing her daughter. How does she look identical? We just don't know. They just did that. Season 5. Let me get season 6, the 25 years later. Pulled up. Oh yeah, the daughter's name is Martina. Yeah, so they have a daughter named Martina, which hurts my feelings because that's how I would name. That's how I would name my child if I had one. But like, why would you do that to me? Like, I'm going to associate that name to a terrible telenovela forever. Anyway, so Martina is Rocio and Leonardo's daughter, who looks exactly like young Rocio. And she loves her dad and hates her mom because her mom is depressed, and she's still upset that she had to leave the country, and she's an alcoholic now, and she's not taking care of her husband, who is Leonardo is dying now, but I'll believe it when I see the body because that man has died twice. On her part, if I'm not mistaken, let me look for. So, Agustina, meanwhile in Chile, Agustina is now married to Ricardo, and they have a daughter. And I just saw her name and I forgot it. Her name is Olivia. And guess who's playing Olivia? The same actress who used to play Agustina.
Stop.
Seriously, everyone who used to play a character is now back in the show playing their child. Like, I just don't get it. Anyway, so this is what's happening now. This is what's happening now. Diego and Samantha got married for some. I mean, Rocio told him to marry her, so they got married. That relationship, once again, makes no sense considering how that child was conceived, but whatever. So Julieta is being now played by the actress who used to play Samantha, who also used to play Agustina when she went to Europe to change her face. Because, you know, genetics just works like that. Like all your children always look 100% like you. Like we apparently,
Of course.
random science fact, everyone gives birth to their clone. And here's the thing about Julieta, who is probably like in like my age. She is now dating none other than Tomas, who I don't know if I told you, but he's in his 60s. At least the actor, like the actress who plays her and the actor who plays Tomas have at least a 30-year age difference. But she's Tomas's new girlfriend now, who wants to marry him.
Why is this show? Kat said lazy casting and writing wow, then Astrid said it's wild.
I mean, I get that they wanted to keep the actors employed, but they could have done something a little bit more, you know, I don't know. They could have come up with something a bit more creative. So yeah. Agustina is married to Ricardo, and she is best friends with Samantha. So she is best friends with the woman whose face she used to have at some point. They're buddies now. they're the best of friends. that being said, Samantha is now married to Diego, like I said, and they're raising Julieta together. I mean, she's a grown adult, but she probably needs more raising because, like, don't date a guy who's 30 years older than you. Like, run to the hills, honey. But like, anyway, so they're together and they're a happy family. But are they a happy family though? Because Samantha is cheating on Diego with Ricardo. So she is cheating on her husband with her ex-boyfriend, her first love, who is also the husband of his best friend who used to have her face. Do you see? Do you see why I have issues with this show? Do you understand this situation? Because my head hurts. Also, they are implying now that Martina, Rocio and Leonardo's daughter, are going to is going to be a thing with Cristobal, who is Tomás and Agustina's son. So the thing about that is that they are cousins because, as you remember, Rocio and Agustina are sisters, and also they have a sibling in common because Rocio and Tomás have a son whose name is Benjamin, who is Cristobal's arch nemesis. Oh, did I forget to mention that Rocio, Agustina, and Tomás are also cousins? Because, yeah, they're also cousins. And maybe that's why they produce weird children that look exactly like them. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But all I know is my head hurts.
I see why now.
All I know is that Brian is broken. And like, I don't know if tell all of you like you're welcome for listening to this, or I am so sorry that I traumatized you all with this story. But like, do you see what greed does to corporations? I mean, corporations are not people, they are greedy in nature. But this show is like objectively bad, but the network doesn't want to end it because it makes the network money. And even though the entire fandom is like, oh my god, can this end? Like, how many storylines are you going to squeeze out of this nonsense? Like, we don't care about the next generation bullshit. Like, we see all your plot twists for miles. Like, we can see that Cristobal and Martina are going to be a thing. By the way, those actors who used to play Rocio and Tomás and now play Martina and Cristobal are a couple in real life. So, fun fact.
So even more confusing.
Yeah. Which is more confusing and more annoying because they're objectively in the show a terrible couple together. Like, I mean, like, if this show ends after 20 more years and it ends up with Rocio and Tomás getting together, I am suing the network.
Kat says I'm in denial that this is a real show.
I'm sorry, Kat. You're my friend. I never meant to hurt you like that. You know I love you, right? So that's this show. It's not good. And it continues to be not good. Also, once again, the casting for the older characters, they don't really look like their younger selves. They could have done better. They could have done better. Or they could have pulled, or I hate to say this, I absolutely hate to say this, and if you ask me, I'm going to deny that I said it, so I hope you forget about this immediately. They could have pulled an Outlander in which 20 years passed, but the actors are the same. That being said, Jamie and Claire are hot, so they didn't want to lose the hot people because they know that is the hook that gives the show
Facts.
popularity and the network money. And also, I
Sure.
would have absolutely revolted if they had recasted Claire. Like, you are not going to recast my wife, but you didn't hear this from me. Like, allegedly, I said that, but it's all allegedly. I didn't say it. Let's forget about it. I'm going to adopt the same philosophy as the writers of this show. This is fine. Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
THORN said, okay, good for the actors for keeping their job for that long.
Yeah,
Right.
like, but it's hilarious
Impressive.
because here's the thing about that Thorn. I heard
Allegedly.
that the dude that played Tomas was going to play his son. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a weird casting choice, but I don't think they're going to take that further. And the actors were like writing Instagram posts about how they were no longer going to play this card. And it sounded very final. It sounded like they were leaving the show for good. And then it was like, oh no, the actress who plays Rocio is going to play her daughter too. And the actor who played Agustina is going to play her daughter too. And I was like, oh, okay. So good for them, because keeping a job in this country, in this economy, very hard. So amazing for them. I'm happy for them, but I wish they were given better material to work with.
Right, let alone an acting job that long in general.
Allegedly, yeah.
In any country.
Yeah. You are spelling it wrong, but it's difficult to spell, so don't worry. But it's pronounced Katrina, yeah. Did they try though, Astrid? So yeah, I agree with you. Did they try? I don't think they tried. Yeah, I love her. I mean, besides the fact that she's hot and I'm in love with her, she's an amazing actress. So she deserves to pretend that she's like 60 now or something, like, because I want her to keep that job. Anyway. So this is all very confusing. And I'm sorry that I burden you with the knowledge of this show. Now you are sadly now in hell with me, but rest assured that that I love you and I would never hurt you. You're lucky you don't get to actually watch this show. I avoid it, like I mostly watch it on Twitter, and the Twitter fandom is brutal to these people. Like, some of them are like borderline offensive, but some people in there are genuinely funny. Like, there are some of those people I would actually hang out with because they're actually funny. But like, I had a lot of words, but at the same time, I have no words for this show. I am both too chatty and speechless at the same time.
Where do you even start?
I
Where?
don't know where to. I don't even know where to start with this. I mean, I told you the entire story, and I'm sure that I forgot something. And oh my God, it's 7 already. Wow. Uh, I'm sorry, y'all. This has lasted forever because
Astrid said no try, only did.
yeah, and they did it badly. So anyway, I want to thank you all for listening to this nonsense.
Oh my god! Hold on, I have to show you this cat tree.
Oh, let me see.
Let me flip my camera around
I
because
need to
I
make
look
my friend.
terrible.
I need to make my friend bigger. Let me
No.
let me put you in. When you flip your camera, I'm going to make you
There we
solo.
go. Look at it! It's a cactus! Luna,
Oh
come
my God, that's so cute.
here. Isn't that adorable? Say hi, Luna.
Hi,
Play with your
Luna.
cactus.
Now, for I'm sorry for putting you through this present.
You
Here,
get a
have a
cat.
cute cat tree and have a cute cat.
A cat. Where's Isabel when we need them?
You have a tiny little baby. We love
Da,
Luna.
da,
In
da,
this
da.
household, she's so cute.
She is giving me I was muted and she was giving me all the opinions. Yeah.
Oh, she had opinion. Yeah, cat
You had opinions
bad,
about their ridiculous show, right?
cat
Cat
bad. Oh
butt.
yeah, she was probably like,
Oh, look at
what
you
is
flap.
the show? Or like, it makes
Oh,
no
look
sense.
how long that cat is.
Oh,
That's not really a long cat.
look at that long baby.
You're so tiny.
She's a small, but she is long.
She is.
She is not large, but she is long.
Cactus? Cactus? Yes, cactus.
The
Cactus? Cactus.
a cactus.
Who knows? I don't know.
That's okay,
Shall we?
cat. Twitch,
Oh
bitchy.
gosh.
Oh, hi, Luna.
You got a close up. The other day, the chickens knocked my phone out of my hand because I was recording them, and I had my finger like behind my phone, just like, holding it. And one of the chickens thought it was a treat, and then I dropped my phone. Are you a purr machine? Ah!
Also,
Ow!
we are
It's spicy hours.
we are winding down. We are winding down from the podcast. I
You
want
hear
to
that?
thank everyone for enduring this nightmare with me. I want to thank everyone for enduring this nightmare with me. I am sorry.
Cat.
Yeah,
Ew.
they're matchy, right?
Ew. Sweet boy. This is a piece of Ginger's hay.
And once you once Luna stops demanding your attention, can you post the link again, please?
Oh yes. Let me go do
Yeah.
that.
So
One more time.
don't forget, everyone. Let me put myself again. Don't forget, everyone, to check out the link to Thorn's fundraiser, because I am going to say the thing now. I'm sorry, friend, but they are low-key kind of one of the people who inspired this podcast. Not this episode, the entire premise of the podcast. You know, the thing I said, the thing I say about people who talk about their passions are delightful, and I love to listen to them. Like, Thorn is one of those people, so that's why. And besides them being my friend, I want them to have all the good things in the world. So yeah, please check that out. I would be very happy and very grateful. Yes, it's true. I know you. I know that makes you awkward, but I mean it for real. Like I had I have told you before, I have mostly inattentive ADHD, and when you talk about stuff, even when I don't know about this stuff, I'm like focused. Like, so yeah, you're a wonderful person, and
Correct.
you deserve all the good things and all the and all the care in the world. So
Correct.
I'm
This is the
totally,
primer to my when I will live stream at some point and boost Thorn. But I can also say the same. Like Thorn is a huge reason why I was felt comfortable doing content online.
yeah,
And we love you so much.
yeah. I love you so much because you are amazing and supportive, and you are actually kind, not like bullshit definition of kind created by Karens, because usually people will be like, oh, you need to be kind. And what they actually mean is like you need to be passive when something shitty happens, and like not to go High School Musical on your asses, but stick to the status quo. Um, but you're not like that. You know that kindness is actually like caring for people and helping people. So that's why I want to help you. And I live in part of the world, South America, and I have no money, but I sure as hell going to be your cheerleader through this whole thing, because you deserve the world on a silver platter, honestly. And that's all I have to say for now. Otherwise, I'm going to start crying.
Mood. Big mood. It's fine.
You
We
know
love
how I get
Thorn.
about my friends. Like, everyone who knows me knows that I'm like ride or die for my friends, and this is no exception. So everyone, please check out the link. The link is going to also be up in the description box of the YouTube video when I upload this to YouTube, which I'm going to try to do it as fast as I can, but sometimes my modem is actually also uh, my router is actually also corn, and my modem is also squash. Or maybe, I mean, this is like, I was going to say the router is grapes, because like we have a lot of vineyards around, but that sounds nicer than than corn. Not that I don't like corn, but you know what I mean. Uh, so the link is going to be up, and I encourage everyone to check it out, to donate if you can, and to share, because like sharing people and bringing and bringing stuff to other people's attention is how we can all help each other. And LTT is all about people helping people. So I want to leave you all with this message, and I love you all. And thank you for how long have we been here? For being here with me for like what? Has it been like 3 hours or more? I really did have a lot to say. So you know. I don't do it for that, but I know that I know that your love language is like it is like I'm going to get you thing, which is like that's why I want you to have things as well, because I know that's something that makes you genuinely happy, so I want you to be happy. But if you don't have the money, you don't have to spend it on me. We're Spider-Man meme. I'm very awkward about that. And Eeyore gets me on that as well, because
Yes.
Spider-Man meme.
My love language is giving gifts in video games because I'm broke. That is the biggest mood I've ever heard.
Your love language is Animal Crossing.
I know. I was like, please let me eat things at you. I have extra.
Is sending bells to people. But yeah, and like you have been an amazing friend to everyone and to me as well. And like, I'm not going to cry.
It's not gonna
I'm not
happen.
going to cry because I'm going to make you awkward. But like, I love you so much. So with this, this is a mushy moment, but I mean it from the heart. Oh, that's so cute. Also, I love that. I love that Animal Crossing has so many flower stuff. That is wonderful. Now I love
I
me a
just
flower.
bought a whole bunch of flowers and things from Leaf, and I need to plant them all.
Thank you, Kat. I'm sorry that I kind of broke your brain for a second there with that storyline, but like, I'm glad that you enjoyed it in the end.
Listen, I love a good bad show, and I'm just like, I want to find this show with English subtitles so I can watch it in its full
Also,
hilarity.
this show has been sold to other countries, dubbed in.
See, I want the original.
It has been dubbed in neutral Spanish, which is a train wreck on its own.
I just want the Chilean Spanish with English subtitles. Is that too much to ask for?
I'm going to check if some of the ridiculous scenes.
I want to see if there are any like small clips on YouTube. I would live for it.
I want to find business casual Molotov cocktail.
Oh my god, please!
Because like she's dressed so fancy to throw a bomb through a window.
I'm dying.
It's like, oh my god! It's like, but I'm going to do a vandalism, but I'm going to look hot while doing it. I appreciate her commitment, though.
Once this parachute is over, oh my god, Kat, that's a good one. I can actually do more for you.
Parachute.
Yeah. Wait, right?
Right. That's amazing.
Parachute took me out.
Yeah, I have a lot of I have a lot of favorites for words that we used for the pandemic. I like the words in Spanish, obviously because I'm biased, but also Pantene and Panasonic. But parachute, that's amazing. Okay, so after we had our moment of mushy, which I'm going to be saying a lot of a hell of a lot more mushy things about you, Thorn. You need to get ready because it's Thorn Appreciation Month, and I appreciate you every day. But this month, like, is your birthday every day because you are that powerful. So get ready because my love language is also gifts, but I am broke and in South America, so that's kind of difficult. But you just wait when I get a job. I'm going to eat so many stuffs at all of you.
Mood.
You're not going to believe that.
Listen, Kat is a
my other love language is letting people, and this is also something that you reminded me to do, is like when I have something nice to say about someone, I say it to that person's face.
We can raid Thorn.
Yay! They're live now. Let me go in the thing. And this is another thing that like they can't get me stuff on Animal Crossing, but they can give me their streams, which are the Oh wait.
Okay, now.
Oh yeah, you disappeared from my cyber, and I was like, No, no
Oh,
technical difficulties, please.
already?
I need my
Why?
friend. I need my friend to stream
We
so
need the
they can get
delightful Animal
my.
Crossing goodness.
Yeah, I need to watch my friend immediately.
And I'm going to
Excuse
eat
you.
food and plant bushes and trees on my island because I still need to
Okay,
do that.
so we are going to go and rate my friend because they're fantastic. But let me I need to restart because there's you're still not showing up on the sidebar, friend. And I am a
Sometimes it
concern.
takes a moment for
I am
Twitch.
a
It's weird.
concern. I am a concern. Also, my battery is running out, so I'm
Listen,
going.
Kat, you can have a love language for anything. Your
I
love
am going.
language is
I
cleaning
am
for
going to
people. That's a thing.
shift position
If you would like to clean for
so
me
I
sometime,
can.
let me know.
So I can. Twitch is being extremely rude to me right now. Technical difficulties. Please hold. Why do I still not see them on the sidebar? Did they have to restart again?
I see them. They popped up in my live channels. So hopefully it should work.
Yeah, let me see because I'm worried that if they're not on the sidebar, it's not going to let me raid, but you know. So we're going to do a thing. Oh, okay. So we can take a second. Let me reorganize here and let me see that my Twitch is loading and doing everything because it's acting very strange right now. And I'm concerned that the raid is not going to work out. Also, hello, terrible lighting now. Also, am I going to be able to take makeup pictures because my face is melted because it's so hot?
Ugh. Every time you tell me how hot it is, I'm just like, I don't know how you're alive.
Yeah, like and it's hotter in my room than it is outside.
Yes, that stifling heat, and I'm just like, I feel
I
so
swear,
much
I
for
swear,
you.
it's 100 degrees in this room, Fahrenheit.
That's what I like when you were like, yeah, it's like you were like, 30 Celsius, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. So is this working? My Twitch is not. It's not loading yet. I need to get to the
Hmm.
chat bar so I can because I can't rate from StreamYard. I need to do it from Twitch.
Yeah, it should work. Like I said, I see Thorn live.
Yeah. Okay. So let me let's get ready, friends, so we can rate my friend and have a fun time.
Come on, Mama, no, everybody, let's go.
Okay, so I will
It's a
see you next
bay.
week, everyone. We are going to do a raid, which is one of my favorite moments of the day. That rhymed. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it was a kind of a mess, but I hope you come back next week to hang out with me and hear about one more thing. So we're going to do the raid now because if I forget, let me, because it was very.
It should work. I saw the one of the bots notified again.
Yeah, let me send the raid thing. It's very slow. It's doing it. It's doing it. It's doing it. So,
Yay!
so I am going back to StreamYard so I can push the button. Yeah, let me see if we can raid because it's giving me a warning thingy.
worked.
Yeah, we did it. It worked. So I am going now. Bye, everyone.